You're listening to Edging the Truth.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another episode of Two Steps from the Edge, presented by Edging the Truth. I'm Fudge, joined this week by my good buddy all the way out in Las Vegas, Nevada. It is Brian Shenanigan, and we're here. It's episode, I believe, 14 of Two Steps from the Edge. You can find all of your Two Steps from the Edge, Edging the Truth material at edgingthetruth.com. Follow us on the socials at Edging the Truth everywhere: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, as well as on YouTube, youtube.com/Edging the Truth. Like this video, subscribe, tell us what you think about the topic today. And it is an interesting one that we haven't talked about on the show yet that I'm excited to get to. And we're going to jump right into it, Brian. So you seen this? You heard about this? So this happened last week down in Mexico. The true story of the fake unboxed aliens is wilder than the actual aliens. So this is a story from Vox.com. So last week in Mexico, there was a conference. I believe it was like in front of like the Mexican Congress or something like that.
Well, that's the misnomer about this is like they're apparently there's a real Congress in Mexico. This whole Mexican Congress is some other regional kind of not really accredited as a Congress. It's like it's almost like your local city council kind of thing, the Mexican Congress. So this is not like necessarily an official government body, but they still do have some clout in Mexico.
So they've got some clout in Mexico, and from what I understand, this isn't the first time they've put on a presentation like this. So as you can kind of see from the picture here, I'm sure you guys saw this online or on TV, or it was everywhere. They unboxed these two 1,000-year-old non-human. They say they're non-human beings. I mean, obviously, it doesn't look human. They claim they're 1,000 years old. They were originally found in Peru, I believe. They're like this fucking big. They're super tiny. They've got 3 fingers. They're gray. They've got big heads, big on the stretching out back here. And yeah, so pretty much these were this it goes viral. It drops that everybody's like, oh shit, the aliens, they're real. And then maybe not so much. Kind of comes out that these aren't real aliens. So they actually were discovered in Peru in late 2016 or early 2017. So they didn't even know when they were discovered. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were purportedly found among the burial grounds of the Nazca, and subsequently dubbed the Nazca mummies. The Nazca were an indigenous ancient Peruvian people known for creating beautiful geoglyph designs known as the Nazca lines. They interred their dead in elaborately wrapped cloths and often posed in seating positions, much the way one of the original aliens was displayed. Wow.
And they put them in diatomaceous earth, which I guess is, a big preservable thing.
Sure. So, I mean, you're the skeptic on the show, Brian. And I'm sure as soon as you saw this, I could guess you were like, this is bullshit. What did you think?
Well, I've seen a hoax or two in my day. And at first when I saw this, I was like, okay, like Mexican Congress. Then I looked into it and I'm like, oh, this ain't the real Mexican Congress. And then but then it was like, I actually started to see like some, at the time of this, I read some of the other stuff on it, some other articles from other people and stuff. And it was like, yeah, they were like, oh yeah, these are llama skulls, or these are basically, kind of manufactured bodies they put together. Some even said that like there was a dude on YouTube that all he does is basically take animal bones and he makes these basically. He makes these like because they're I guess this is like a known thing. But it's like that. But just to go with that whole Peru thing, I mean, that Peru with their Nazca, like all that stuff that's down there, everybody already thinks that's all alien landing stuff, like it's like, so there is credence to this. That's why they did a lot of the stuff, is because people are like, oh, this is aliens, man. It's but yeah, it is definitely interesting. The pictures were good. It was a grand thing. They really, had it. And frankly, everyone was so quick to just be like, it's not real and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, on the flip side, in the last month or two with all the other alien stuff going on, I don't know, man. Like I said, it could go either way. And, and I think when we get to a little later, it may change some minds. But if we're just talking about this article right here, right now, yeah, it kind of debunked a lot of their stuff, at least. And I read this article, and I feel like that even with this dude, a lot of his stuff was like, this is just what people are saying,
So the two small corpses were displayed for all observers. UFologist Jaime Mason said these specimens are not of our terrestrial evolution. These aren't beings found after UFO wreckage. They were in diatom, algae mines, and were later fossilized. He also said they were able to draw DNA evidence using radiocarbon dating, and 30% of the specimen's DNA was unknown. Experts also testified under oath that one of the bodies had eggs inside, also had implants made of rare metals like osmium. I don't know. Very, very, very weird. But speaking of the eggs inside, your topic was this same thing.
Yes.
My article was from last week, so this is kind of when it came out and kind of debunking it as of when it came out from Vox.
I think it came out like the week ago or so. I mean, it was like Monday or Tuesday when this first came out. Like, so, yeah. I mean, it was the middle of last week we got this. This article is from the 16th that you put up. So, I mean, I think let's just go right into the next article. Let's put up the Telegraph article here that I threw up, because we both had the same topic on this one. I know usually here on Two Steps we get two separate topics, but I saw Fudge's topic and I kind of was like, then I just did a little more of my research and I'm like, oh, that was last week. This is this week. So let's talk about what happened this week. All right. So this week on Tuesday, actual experts put up this thing, and basically they on YouTube did x-rays and MRIs of these aliens and found that look, I mean, there it is right there. They're putting in this was all done live on YouTube. Anybody could have watched it. I believe we could probably actually go, it's probably on a YouTube live somewhere. But like I said, they took them out. These are out of the box. They're doing this. This is a actual medical facility.
Yeah. And
they found in this that no, these aren't made up of multiple parts, that it is one solid piece, all the pieces belong to one skeleton. This is not like a llama head or an amalgamation of bones or whatever. Like, that is one skeletal piece. And to kind of go along with exactly what you said, I mean, I almost feel like we could just watch this whole video.
Yeah, just we don't have to say shit. Just watch the video.
Like, hey. I mean, look at me. Like I said, they're handling them. They're
look at how tiny that thing is.
Yeah, I mean, this is better than anything we like. This is way better than all the other articles and all that stuff. And then so I mean, they did studies. That was last week. This is this week, and like they did the studies. Like I said, you saw right there. They weren't last week's article. They were displayed in two boxes in like some hall. And now this week, No, they were in. That's the medical shit right there. That's people doing scientific evidence on it. It's because everybody's like, yeah, this is bizarre. We need to figure out more of this. But they did X-rays, CT scans. This was all Tuesday of this week, and you know, they're still. And these people, they, you know, a small upturned nose. They see all these little things, and yes, they're mummified, but because of the diatomaceous earth and stuff. But it's I mean, I feel like a lot of people may have been quick to jump on that these were fake. But you know, it's well. So let's go to this next article over here too. This one is from NDTV World, which shows, you see right there, they found eggs in one of them. They say they're eggs, they're objects, whatever. But this was the one that got me too, because if you scroll down here, you'll see that it says Mr. Benitez, who did this study, said that they found that one was alive, was intact, was biological, and was in gestation. Which means that the things in the abdomen are potentially not only alien eggs, but viable alien eggs.
Evolución
As in,
posterior.
oh, that's from last week. That's the unveiling. But yeah, live alien eggs, bro.
Yeah,
Live
so
alien eggs.
that's the X-ray here. Is that those are eggs?
Yeah. They were only in one of them. They weren't in both. You could see the bulges on the abdomen from, you know, the actual outside. And I mean, what's the next step, man? Are we about to fucking hatch us some alien eggs? Are we about to pop them open and put them under a chicken and
dude, there's no way they haven't already cut into this fucking thing to get those eggs out. There's no way this thing hasn't been dissected already.
I mean, can't you? Because at the same time, it is still an archaeological. It's like saying like, oh, they're gonna cut up the I mean, I don't know, the Mona Lisa to see if it was a real thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is like let me crack open this T-Rex skull to make sure it's a dinosaur. I mean, it's like this is still an artifact of a bygone era, one way or another. You know, so it's hard to basically be like, yeah, let's just start cutting that shit open. But on the last video you saw, they were just he was like just hanging out with him, like they were like he was puppeting him around, like they were picking him up, like they got gloves on and stuff, but they were still handling these.
Right.
But just the fact that a week ago it was a hoax. Okay, a week ago, you know, nothing happening, nothing going on. It's these guys. There's a history of racism. We've seen these mummies before that are like this, blah blah blah. And then this week, on YouTube in real time. It wasn't like an edited thing or whatever. I mean, you saw that. That was a bunch of scientific people using scientific equipment bringing these X-rays. These X-rays didn't exist a week ago. We just saw in that last video the MRI stuff. You saw them doing everything, looking at the insides on screens. Like, yeah, they scientifically proved that no, this isn't a lava skull. That yes, all of the bones belong to this one creature, whatever it is. I mean, like I said, it could still be, you know, a lot of stuff happens in life. You know what I'm saying? This could have been two Siamese twins that were just born deformed or mutated or something like that at the time. And it's just like they were mummified because they were different and special because they didn't understand. You know, so it's like I could still see, and people were shorter back then. I mean, that's really is something, especially after you're mummified for X amount of years. Yeah, stuff can shrink down. So, it's like I said. So, and I guess that brings us right into the third article. This is from today, and it wants us to get a MasterCard. That's what this article wants us to do.
Wants us to get a MasterCard and bet at Circa Sportsbook.
Hell yeah, man! It really wants us to bet at Circa Sportsbook.
Yeah.
NASA contractor will reportedly study the corpses presented to Mexico's Congress. But so this is from today. So it's like this has garnered enough support that even NASA is like, all right, like I said, last week NASA was like, whatever. This week, after remains were examined live, it's like, maybe we should just go take a look. The irony of this article is not only does it say that the NASA engineer is going to go down there, that NASA has an interest, but on the flip side, they're like, yeah, the guy we're sitting down, we're going to keep that dude's name anonymous. Okay. Because we don't really, so it's like they're going to go down there and do it, but they're just like, yeah, but we're going to send an official NASA person, but don't put his name in the articles. Don't tell anybody who he is. We don't want to sully this dude's reputation, potentially, but he is actually, I mean, the actual recognized global space agency that's supposed to deal with all this stuff is actually sending somebody to get the gist of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, because there, like I said, there it is right there. That's from the video we just saw. Because it's one thing when you got two of them in a box. It's another thing when you're literally, putting them through this scientific actual process where people can say, yeah, maybe because if all this stuff, it would have shown if it was a hoax. It would have shown if it was an amalgamation of bones, all those things, and it's not. It is very much not.
Yeah, dude, it's just crazy how quickly the perception changed. Like the first article we were reading, it talks about how it's come under fire because these things basically appear to become or were crowdfunded basically into existence. There was this group that claims to, there's like 3 different people, all that claim to have found this thing. And then, they tracked down the guy that actually was supposed to be instrumental in finding it. And he has information that nobody can know that's out of this world. And they found the guy, and he's just like a YouTuber that makes mummies that look like these and shows people how to make them and how this could be a hoax.
Yeah.
To now, it's like, okay, let's actually test these things. And it's kind of like, all right, well, it's all one piece. It's not human DNA. There's 3 possible baby
live
aliens,
eggs. Yes,
live eggs in this thing
inside.
So it's quite a jump to make in a week from going, these are fake. And I'm not going to say I'm 100% like in on this, but your 3 articles that you brought to the table definitely make me think a little bit harder about the Vox one that I brought that just completely shuts it down from the start. And let me tell you why these people are bad and how they're all scam artists. They say they're archaeologists, but they're not really UFO experts. But now we have, I thought it was interesting. It's a third party getting involved from NASA. That's all they can say. They're not going to share the name. Apparently this third party from NASA is going to be doing their own DNA testing. They're going to go to Peru. They're going to go to Mexico. And then I assume they're going to publish their findings as well. But I'm excited we got to finally talk about this because I was itching to do it after last week. But it's just it's a very bizarre story, especially because the credibility of the group has come into question, seeing as there were other instances where they've done this in the past with what I assume would be these same bodies that they're claiming they have. They've assured all of their investors and everything that they would be the first ones to know if it was fake or know if it was a hoax. But I don't know. The X-ray and seeing 3 eggs in there makes me really changes it for me.
I'm the original skeptical, like this is bullshit, right? Yeah. And when I first saw this, I was like, oh yeah, I thought like all the exact same things. It's bullshit. But when they did all of these studies, I mean, that was a real MRI machine. All right. And people are gonna be like, oh, but that's Mexico. That's Mexican MRIs. It's Mexican people. And it's like, you don't know. There was a lot of people in that room. There was a lot of scientific materials. There were monitors, readouts, all this stuff. They did it live on YouTube. They did it live when they did all this. So the point is, you can't fake that. It'd be very hard to fake all that stuff live. It's very hard to fake scans and stuff like that live. And moreover, and to go along the same thing, in Mexico. Okay. Like, it's like, like it's so, and I mean, they were handling it. They were just, I was a little surprised about how he was handling that. Like, it was like, man, this guy doesn't even care that he's handling antiquities, as it were. He was just like, yeah, look at this. Look at him. We're going to make the head talk. Like it's
he was totally doing a voice for the for all the orderlies and everybody around him. Like,
I'm an alien. Look at me. I have eggs inside of me. For sure. But the fact that today, like, you look at your article was from last week. My article was from, the other articles were from 3 days ago. This one is from today. So within a week, we went from, look at these mummies, it's obviously a hoax, to, oh no, it's a lot of the stuff that you said was a hoax. No, we just proved it with science. And so much so that now NASA's like, yeah, maybe we should send somebody down,
Right.
So it's what a difference a week makes. And I think that this is really the essence of our entire podcast, because we're trying to show conspiracies and the stuff that's fake. And this is one where it was like a week ago it was fake, and a week now, after we science that shit, it's real. And at least has more credibility than it did when they were two bodies sitting in boxes in somebody's, hall.
Right. Right.
But I mean, that's our podcast, man. That's the essence of us. We're trying to, in one thing, we basically said, yes, this is for sure a conspiracy. This is bullshit. To now, even we're like, maybe we do have midget alien eggs around here.
Right. I want to see what they do with these eggs, if they try to hatch them, if they try to extract them from this body, or what.
Because even the fact that this says it's still alive in gestation, I'm like, that one I'm going to take with a grain of salt. Okay,
yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to take those
what about
dried out corpses did not look like they were ready to be reanimated. Okay, like
I don't know if I believe
it's just add water situation. So
yeah, no shit. Like, well, even when they were handling them, you saw how they're stiff. They're like that. They're not. I don't know. That's why I'm thinking like, oh fuck, you got to cut into this thing and get those eggs out.
I've seen them do this same thing with mummies, and like man, they have a whole team of people like being careful to like lift them up and so it doesn't fall apart and all that stuff, like, because it's that. And these ones, he's just like, here we are,
Right.
But it's also a different process. These ones aren't. I mean, I guess they're not true mummies where it's like we know all the human parts and all that stuff and how preciously they weren't wrapped like in the bandages and all that stuff like we're used to with mummies. They were basically mummified by the earth they were put in.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's very, very weird. But also another thing, like if they're supposedly like 1,000 years old, I guess I would have thought it would have been a little bit more decomposed. But also, if they're actually aliens, that could be very different. Fuck, what do I know? And I'll be curious to see, I think my last thing here, I'll be curious to see what the NASA investigation finds. Like, is it going to be, oh yeah, that's what they're saying, like we found conclusive shit, like our stuff matches up, or is it going to be completely different? Because I did hear there were I think a couple of the whistleblowers from the government were down at this hearing and were kind of pissed off because they almost felt like they were making a mockery of it. So I'll be curious to see kind of like what the American perspective it is on it, as far as from NASA, and then if anybody else from the government or the UIP task force or whatever gets involved in this kind of stuff. But I think this was a good one. It's super interesting to talk about, and I think it's the first time we've had multiple articles on the same topic on Two Steps from the Edge. So that's cool. In your fucking face, Red.
But they actually, I feel like they gave two perspectives, and like I said, what a difference a week makes. And moreover, this isn't the last we're going to talk about this.
Oh fuck
like,
no!
This is an ongoing thing, especially if we start to hatch some goddamn alien eggs.
Well, that's what what hatch the eggs, and then what's the next alien body?
Hatch the eggs.
Hashtag hatch the eggs. We're gonna get that going. And then what other kind of alien remains is somebody gonna come forward with next? That family in Las Vegas, they released their drawings of the aliens that they said landed in their backyard, and it looked like
I almost did that story.
Yeah, it looked like a kindergarten's drawing, and those were supposedly 8 to 10 feet tall. And you got these little fuckers over here. So I don't know. There's a bunch of different kinds of humans. They're different species of animals. There very well could be different species of aliens. But this was a great episode. I'm excited to hear what's next on this topic. I just want to. Oh, fuck. Excuse me.
We're both coughing.
Yeah, we're both coughing it up on episode 14. But if you like what you heard, leave us a comment. Like this video. Tell a friend. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Edging the Truth. www.edgingthetruth.com for all of your podcast needs. We've got merch on there. We have all of our episodes. We got links, ways to listen on your favorite platform, wherever that may be. Bios about each of us. We also have the voicemail line, 917-979. I always forget the last four. I never fucking remember the last four.
You were so right there. I was like, oh, he's got it this week.
917-979-6 something. Red will put it on the screen right here so you could read it. Unfortunately, if you're listening to the podcast, we'll put it in the description.
It is 917-979-6071.
I knew there was a fucking 6.
979-6. We believe you.
Yeah.
All right.
Look at how convenient that.
Come back.
That's incredible, Brian. Thank you for the assist there. But for Brian Shenanigan, I am Andy Hopper. This is 2 Steps from the Edge, presented by Edging the Truth. We will see you next week for a full episode of Edging the Truth. Take it easy.
Visit edgingthetruth.com for more information and links to all our social media and podcast directories.